This pattern, again, we're going to start at A. The cone will be on the exhibitor's left-hand side. We're going to sitting trot, posting trot left diagonal to the middle of the pattern. They're going to stop. We'll do an approximate 90-degree turn to the right on the forehand. Okay, this is not a big turn, but for the judges, it gives us an idea to kind of see, what kind of feel you have if you're able to make that maneuver happen. You'll then posting trot, right diagonal circle. Once you get back to the center here, you're going to walk about 5 steps, sitting trot until you're even with A, stop and back, and then exit at the sitting trot. So again, when we've practiced this, a couple hot spots that we had was definitely the walk in the middle. I've had people do it and they will forget to walk or they're sort of caught up in the moment. So again, make sure you have practiced that and think about that a little bit. Again, for your best score, we need a big round circle, okay? One thing about the Hunt Seat Equitation, this is a forward-moving class, okay? So we need you to show this with a little bit of forward motion. This is not the horsemanship, it's not the Western, so make sure that you really get out there and show your horse like an English horse, okay? All right, whenever you're ready. So when we're doing this forehand turn to the right, hips will go left, head will go to the right. Again, we want a nice round circle here. Make sure you complete it before you break back to the walk. Does anyone have any questions on that? We'll run through it again right quick. I know it moves pretty quickly. So the walk trot is in walk and the youth is in here. I see what you're saying. Yes, walk trot must be 5 to 10 is in Watt Arena. The youth walk trot is in this arena. Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Thank you. So many classes. Okay. So again, we're going to start at A with the sitting trot. Right into the left diagonal. Hopefully you're not going to look for that diagonal. In the center, we're going to stop, forehand to the right, approximately 90 degrees. Again, we want to trot this circle with some authority, okay, like we're going somewhere. Once we complete it, back in the center, come down to the walk, and then push right into the sitting trot. Here we'll stop and back. Again, we exit at a sitting trot in this pattern. All right, good job. Any questions? Nope. All right, our next pattern is for the novice youth and novice amateur equitation. And those are both held here in John Justin. Our start cone is in the correct spot here. Again, we're going to start at A. Cone will be on the exhibitor's left. We'll do a sitting trot, posting trot left diagonal to the middle of the pattern. Again, we'll stop and do that 90-degree turn. We're going to canter a left lead, change leads, canter a right lead, 3/4 circle. At the top of that circle, we're going to break to a sitting trot for approximately 2 strides. Posting trot on the right diagonal. When they're even with A, we'll stop and back and exit a sitting trot. Now, I kind of feel we've done the exhibitors a little bit of a favor by putting this sitting trot in here. It gives you a better chance to kind of gather your thoughts and your feel and come up on the correct diagonal, okay? So you're going to use that to your advantage. And again, when you do this 3/4 circle to the right, make sure you've come around the circle and you're facing toward where you're going to stop before you break down to the trot, okay? We don't want to break down to the sitting trot back in the circle before you've made that last bend. We'll talk about it as Lisa gets going here. There you go. So left diagonal to the middle. We'll stop, 90-degree turn right on the forehand. We'll canter a left circle. Once back in the middle, you can change leads. That is simple or flying. Now, as she does this circle here to the right, we want to make sure she's facing that last diagonal line here to stop and back before she breaks to the sitting trot. So we're going to get around the bend here. Then down to the sitting for approximately 2 strides, right diagonal. Once we're even with A, we'll stop and back. Then exit at the sitting trot. Good deal. Let's do it once more so they have a good idea what it's supposed to look like. Any questions on this so far? I think it says approximately 2 strides, right? Yeah. Oh, at the beginning? No. 2 or 3 strides. Just make sure you show it. You want to show enough that we know that you actually did a sitting trot. Yeah, for sure. No, you're fine. Yeah, we were just talking about really how far to go. Okay, we'll make sure we finish this circle before we change leads here. Ideally, the way we have it drawn in this diagram is the lead change is after our trot line here when we started. Yeah. So make sure we get around the bend. We're heading in our diagonal line before we come to the sitting trot. Right diagonal to even with A, stop and back. Okay, thank you. Now, here in this next pattern, we'll kind of talk about this lead change area, just to make sure we're not changing too early. It's a very similar setup as the pattern we just did. So it's for the 13 and under, the solids, the masters, and the gold non-pro 5-year-old and under futurity. So this time we'll start at the sitting trot. Again, left diagonal to the middle of the pattern. This time we're going to stop and do a 270 to the left on the forehand. We'll canter left lead, change leads, canter this 3/4 circle to the right. Once we get to the top of that circle and we've completed that bend, we'll come down to the sitting trot for approximately 2 strides, right diagonal to A, stop and back, exit the sitting trot. So very similar to the last one. The only difference really is we've got that 270 on the forehand. So keep an eye here where our trot line is here on the diagonal. Our lead change really would be after that, according to our diagram. I'm sorry. So 270 to the left on the forehand. That was good. We're going to canter left circle or left lead here. Again, I can't reiterate to you enough. This is the Hunt seat equitation, so we need to show this with some forward motion, okay? So once we get past our center line here is when we'll change leads. Yep. Again, at the top of our circle, we want to make sure we complete that bend before we come down to the sitting trot. So I believe the only group that will do this pattern in the water arena are the youth solid bred. Everything else should be here in John Justin, I believe. The gold, the 13 and under, the amateur solids, the youth bareback, and the masters. So you want to do that one more time, let everyone get a good feel for it? Yes, yep. Lisa was asking me if that was a better spot for the change, and according to our diagram, that was much more spot on. So it's those little nuances really that are going to make, the difference in your, in your pattern score. All right, thank you. So our next pattern is the Hunt seat equitation for the youth 18 and under and the amateur. These are both held in this arena, so you've got plenty of room here to really show your horse. Again, we're going to start at A with the sitting trot. We're going to posting trot a left diagonal to the middle of the pattern. Stop 270 to the left on the forehand. We're going to canter a left circle, change leads. We're going to hand gallop on the right lead 3/4 of a circle. You'll collect your canter, and then at the top of the circle, we're going to drop to a right diagonal. Now, I know this is a little awkward, coming from that circle to the right diagonal. That's why you need to really make sure you complete that circle, you're around that bend, heading in a straight line before you come down on that diagonal, okay? You'll right diagonal at the trot till you're even with A, stop and back, and then exit at the sitting trot. Okay, we start at A, sitting trot to the middle. I'm sorry, sitting trot and then left diagonal to the middle of the pattern. Stop 270 to the left on the forehand. Okay, we'll cross the center line here and change leads. And then we'll right up into the hand gallop. So again, coming down onto this right diagonal, like I said, is a bit awkward. So we want to make sure that we collect here. We have made the bend. We're going in our straight line before we change or before we drop to the posting trot on the right diagonal. It's not impossible to do, but you're going to need to pay attention through that. All right, good job. We'll run through it once more so everyone can have a good idea what it's supposed to look like. So for this pattern, that's probably going to be one of our hot spots. One is going to be make sure you get up and do the hand gallop, okay? The other one is going to be your diagonal there after that circle. Okay. And ideally for your best score, once you change leads, you're going to get right up into that hand gallop. Show us what you got. Again, once you collect, make sure you make this bend before you come down into your right diagonal. All right, good job. So one thing I want you to keep in mind, as we go through this, when you come to the cone, everyone's starting at the same score, okay? Everyone's starting at a 70. One thing you have to remember is we are scoring each maneuver individually. A lot of times we'll see people on the rail and they'll look at the pattern as a whole and think, well, this person had a mistake and, I probably should have beat him. Just remember, if Susie comes through and she's an average rider and has a 0 on every maneuver, has a 2 on her F and E, she's a 72. Jimmy comes in, plus half, plus 1, has a little mistake in the middle. Sometimes people can't understand, well, why did Jimmy beat me? Because he had a little mistake. Well, just because he had a mistake doesn't mean we take away the plus halves and the plus 1s that came before or after that, okay? So just remember, we're all starting at the same score, and we are judging each of these maneuvers individually, okay? So good luck this week. Just know, the judges, they're your biggest cheerleaders. We do not want to give any 40s. We want to give 90s all the time, okay?